Hey everyone. You know what I miss? Top 10 lists. Man, I used to do them a lot. They used to be the topic of my channel. Then when I started doing movie reviews, I said to myself, I guess I'm gonna have to kiss these top 10s goodbye and never see them again. Nah, I can still do them again. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have really not been enjoying my reviews. I've noticed the view count on them has been pretty shallow. I've gotten some high views for some, but not really the high that I got with my top 10s. So does that mean I'm gonna just wipe out the reviews and just go back to doing top tens the same amount as I usually did? No. I'm still doing movie reviews. There's gonna be lots of movies coming out I want to analyze in my way. But what I am going to do is take this weekend where I didn't see a movie because secretly I'm not really interested in Wicked that much. Anyway, this weekend I am not seeing a movie, so I'm gonna do a top 10 list. Usually when I skip a weekend, I just share a short, share a little short. But this time I'm gonna go ahead and take some time and actually do more videos every weekend. Maybe that's kind of where I need to fix myself with. So this weekend, if I don't have a movie review, I'll have a top 10 list. For today's top 10 list, I'm gonna look back at a list I've done a few times before and talk about the movies out there that are usually praised by people, but are not praised by me. Yes, I have a problem with these movies. This list is a list I've done multiple times. I'm gonna do again as an updated version with maybe a few extra details here and there or whatever. Or not much else has changed, but regardless, I'm kind of starting from that point. Just looking back at top 10 lists I've done that haven't aged the best, probably just due to the fact that I've aged. This is a list of the top 10 movies that a lot of people praise, but I don't like. Movies I hate, but everyone else likes. Granted, you could agree with me with some of these options, but for the most part, these are movies that have a bunch of people who enjoy them, praise them, give them credit for what they have. But are just not really those movies out there for me. Movies I just couldn't get into, couldn't like. I'm ordering this by hate to most hated, and also just which movies. This whole list is gonna be films that are usually the most popular, beloved by people, or just have a positive sighting. Well, these are movies I have no positive with. I just don't like them. I hated them. And I'm gonna piss some people off when I say how much I hate them without giving much of a reason they can agree with. So let's do this, shall we?
So starting off is a Jim Carrey comedy from the 90s that I just couldn't get into. The idea of this movie is that, well, these two are idiots. And that's the whole joke. That's what the movie goes for. The whole joke is just these two being stupid all the time, but it just doesn't really work for me. They try to find ways to spruce up this joke, like times their stupidity will result in murder or I don't know, them making dumb decisions, them turning on each other at times, but none of it really goes anywhere. It doesn't really feel consistent. I know it's not supposed to be taken seriously, but I still was hoping for a consistent plot. So even movies that we're not supposed to take seriously, I do still want a consistent plot for. This movie just doesn't have that. It's just one joke that tries to be spruced in different ways, but they don't really all land very well. I love Jim Carrey, but just isn't with this movie. Now, this movie is pretty much as the title implies nothing. Well, it's called Nobody, but you get what I mean. This movie's popularity is mostly just from how fun of an actor Bob Odenkirk is, I feel like. Overall, I just didn't really get into what this movie was. The idea is that this guy is, well, a nobody who eventually has to become a badass action hero. That's not really a very interesting kind of story. It's pretty boring and doesn't really work well to the film's advantage. I understand they try to spruce it up some, but I don't know, man. I just couldn't do it. I feel like this idea just works when there's other different aspects to it, and the ones that this movie threw in were not good enough for the advantage of the story. Just the whole idea of him being a nobody who becomes an action star, it's boring. They don't spruce it up in fun ways, so the whole plot just comes off as forgettable and bland. Again, Bob Odenkirk's a fine actor, but this movie's just so bland. Now here's a movie that's the opposite. It's too ridiculous. 300 is the story of I don't know, just Romans or whatever. It's hard to describe the story exactly. What it is this weird world that Zack Snyder created, as well as Frank Miller, which is a very kind of stylized vision that I honestly don't care for. It's distracting, I'll be honest. The style this movie has is pretty distracting, not really fun to look at. All the stuff that happens is not really well put together because of that. It just results in effects that are cheap as well as not very fun to watch. I'm gonna be honest, it's just too distracting and not really a very fun visual in my opinion. The movie also has tons of cheesy dialogue that most people accept, but not me. I could not get into the dialogue. This movie just annoys and distracts me too much. And this movie, I have had mixed feelings for as time went on. As a child, I found this to be an average comedy, knowing it was just a family comedy. I just saw it as average, nothing terrible, but also nothing great, just fine in its own manner. But when I look back at this movie, I have to say it's pretty awful in my opinion. I think that just has to come from two things: the plot and Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans is so unfunny. I don't know if this is how he always acts in films. I haven't really seen him in any other films, anyway, because of this, but my god, is he annoying in this movie. He spends the whole movie talking like this, and I hate it. I hate the jokes he tries to crack. He's just unfunny. He's cringy, really. And the plot goes back and forth too much. One minute, these are kids who don't like this camp or try to get out of it. Next minute, they're now ready to become trained professionals. Where's it going? It's stupid, okay? I'm sorry. It's a bad plot and bad comedy. Overall, just a really awful family comedy, in my opinion. Now, Tim Burton, he's definitely seems like the right choice for an Alice in Wonderland movie. I mean, he's got that wacky style of art that really fits with the kind of thing you expect for um a world like Alice in Wonderland. But when you get Johnny Depp to play the Mad Hatter, throw out all this ugly CGI, make the world dark and gritty, and make Alice a grown woman with barely any care in her acting, this is the movie we get. It's so uninspiring. Like everything is so dark and creepy. I know it's the point, but the stuff that isn't dark and creepy is just disturbing. The Mad Hatter character, he's pretty annoying if I'm being honest. I'm sorry, Johnny Depp, but you're annoying in this movie. And all the CGI just overshadows what I'm supposed to like. It's creepy, it's dull, it's the acting is dull. Honestly, this movie's just too forgettable for me to really say much more about. And here we have another Disney film. Yeah, look at that. Disney likes remaking its classics, apparently. Pete's Dragon is the story of a boy who befriends a dragon. Funny enough, this apparently has always never been a fully animated Disney film. It started off as a live action film where the only animated aspect was the dragon, since it was an imaginary friend. Well, they decided to remake it anyway, and now instead of being a cute animated dragon, it's a CGI dragon because CGI is cool. They gotta make it look realistic or whatever. Let's make this kid a annoying mess who every time he's on screen he just annoys me and comes off as irritating. Let's make this whole character have this weird kind of personality to, I don't know, give him more to work with or something. Let's make the dragon not as cute. Let's give him not as many fun elements to have as a character. Let's make him uncharacter, why don't you? Yeah, sure, why not? Who cares? People are gonna like this movie anyway. Well, I hated it for those reasons. Now, here's a movie a lot of people agree really doesn't need to be talked about, but honestly, apparently there has been a fan base to this movie that I never understood. Honestly, this remake deserves no attention, like other most people can say. It is just abysmal. Not just in the fact that it's a remake that shouldn't exist. I'm not gonna call it a movie off for that reason. I'm calling it off because of the comedy in this movie and the way everything else plays out. Every joke in this movie is a bit. It's not comedy involved with the story. It's just gags that are take away from the story. These actors aren't really that funny. I gotta admit, Melissa McCarthy's not funny, neither is Leslie Jones. The CGI for the ghosts, it may look fine at one point, but for the most part, it's just not as cool as the original, to be honest. And yeah, the cameos this movie throws at us, they're too forced, and honestly, yeah, no, that's all you can say. They're forced, not really funny. Overall, that's just the same opinion every hater has of this movie, but I'm not calling it off for that hater reason. I just think overall it's a very unfunny comedy that does a pretty bad job at respecting the things that made the original film so amazing. Yet another Disney remake. Yes, I don't know how many of you people out there are asking Disney to make more remakes, but if there's any in the comments who are like that, I want to have a talk with you. Let's chat in the comment section if you're one of those people. Anyway, yeah, this remake's awful. It's too all the CGI is bad. The designs are terrible. Like, look at Jafar; he does not look menacing at all. These animal creatures, they're not cute anymore. They're real life now. Ew. And of course, there's Will Smith as the genie. He's awful in this movie. Will Smith is a very overrated actor, in my opinion. This role of his is especially abysmal. Like, my God, I couldn't stand him. The CGI on him is atrocious, and just his overall character of trying to be this cool, wacky genie that Robin Williams could pull off. No, no, it's awful, man. It's just awful. Everything about this movie was done horribly wrong, and in par with how well put together everything in the anime movie was. The songs, I guess, were fine in this movie, but not really the right points. This movie is just filled with terrible CGI, terrible designs. It's too long. It's longer than it needs to be. Do I really need to say more? Okay, so here's a comedy that many people have so much fun talking about. Well, I hated it. Is it because I love Star Wars so much? Well, not really. I agree, Star Wars does deserve a great spoof. It's had many great spoofs before. I've seen lots of moments of Star Wars getting spoofed, and I love a lot of them. But my problem with Spaceballs is more so the idea of what they do with it. It doesn't really take time to actually satirize Star Wars, along with doing its way of satirizing the whole overall sci-fi genre, but instead it's mostly just puns and fourth wall breaks. That's really all this movie has. Mel Brooks is great with them, but that's all there is in this movie. It works when they're bits for the time, but if the entire movie's wind-up of comedy just comes from fourth wall breaks and puns, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, instead of Darth Vader, it's a guy named Dark Helmet. Or how about we have Master Yoda be now Master Yogurt? Or Jabba the Hutt is Pizza the Hutt. You see, these jokes don't land for me. A lot of people love this kind of comedy, but I don't, man. It's annoying, and just the amount of these jokes and the puns, fourth wall breaks, there's too many of them for this movie. It doesn't really spoof the genre very well. It just throws in random bits that don't match well enough and just kind of gives this kind of stupid vibe that I feel might have been inspiration for the awful parodies we've gotten in the 2000s. I'd be really rude to compare this to those films, but I'm sorry, but some of it did remind me of those. I hate to admit it. I skipped for the dishonorable mentions. I'm sorry. Those all. Let's just talk about this movie, Man from Earth. This movie is awful in my opinion, but apparently it's really well beloved. Why? I have to ask. Why do people love this movie? Why do I hate this movie? Well, it's pointed off as a sci fi film focused on one man. As the title implies, it's a man from Earth. So, what's it going to be about? Is it going to be a weird dystopian film where it's a man who is living life in another planet? Actually, I'll tell you what the story is. It's a man and his family talking about their existence in one house. That is literally all the movie is. People talking. There is no actual sci-fi elements. It's just conversations about their existence. That's where the sci-fi comes from. What we think. What? That does not make for a good story. I'm sorry. I don't know why people grown to love this. I know there are movies out there that are nothing but dialogue that end up being so well acclaimed, like 12 Angry Men, for example. That's a really beloved movie. But that's because it fits with what its dramas were meant to be for. Like, that was meant to be a drama and crime film, and it Painter does that well because that's what it is. The crime and the drama is done through the dialogue. Sci-fi cannot be done through just dialogue. There are moments where they do go pretty violent with each other, like at one point they pull out a gun, but that just doesn't go anywhere. It's a pretty terrible plot too, if I'm being honest. The dialogue here these characters share are pretty stupid. Okay, they're just what are we? Why are we here? What's my origins like? Who are my ancestors? It's none of that stuff is really important. It's just irrelevant and just takes up the long runtime for this movie. I honestly think this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I'm sorry. It's a really loved movie for those who have seen it, but granted, not many people would have seen it. it's one of those films that more cinebuffs or sci-fi buffs would have seen, and I'm sort of both. But honestly, just the way this movie plays out, I hated it so much. I'm sure people are going to complain that I'm missing the meaning or whatever, but I don't know, man. It's just a terrible way of telling a movie, in my opinion.